W.E.B. Du Bois by Maneli Garza and Jenny Salinas. William Edward Bernhard Du Bois, better known as W.E. Du Bois, was born on February 23, 1868 in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Born to Alfred and Mary Du Bois, he was an only child. In his early childhood, his parents separated and he remained to live with his mother until her death in 1884. While growing up in a mostly European-American town, W.E.B. Du Bois identified himself as mulatto, but freely attended school with whites and was enthusiastically supported in his academic studies by his white teachers. In 1885, Du Bois earned a partial scholarship to Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, and enrolled at a tender age of 15 years old. It was there that he first encountered Jim Crow laws, and for the first time, he began analyzing the deep troubles of American racism. After earning his bachelor's degree at Fisk in 1888, he entered Harvard University as a junior and took Bachelor of Arts cum laude in 1890, and was also one of the 6 commencement speakers. In 1891, Du Bois got his Master of Arts, and in 1895 his doctorate in history from Harvard. He paid his way with money from summer jobs, scholarships, and loans from friends. While working as a professor at Atlanta University, Du Bois rose to national prominence when he very publicly opposed Booker T. Washington's Atlanta Compromise. This was an agreement that asserted that vocational education for blacks was more valuable to them than social advantages like higher education or political office. Du Bois criticized Washington for not demanding equality for African Americans as granted by the 14th Amendment. Du Bois fought for what he believed was an inferior strategy after becoming a spokesperson for full and equal rights in every realm of a person's life. Du Bois published his landmark study which was the African American Community, the Philadelphia Negro, a social study, 1899, marking the beginning of an expansive writing career. In the study, he coined the phrase the talented 10, a term that described the likelihood of 1 in 10 black men becoming leaders of the race. W.E.B. Du Bois wrote 21 books, edited 15 books, and published over 100 essays and articles during this time. W.E.B. Du Bois was one of the leading black intellectuals and the foremost champion of equal rights for the blacks in the United States.
In 1909, Du Bois was among the founders of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, and from 1910 to 1934 served as its Director of Publicity and Research. In 1934, Du Bois resigned from the NAACP board and from the crisis because of his new advocacy of an African American nationalist strategy. Du Bois was awarded the Spingarn Medal and awarded annually by the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People for outstanding achievement by an African American and many other honorary degrees. Du Bois received many honorary degrees and was a fellow and life member of the American Association for the Advancement of Science and a member of the National Institute of Arts and Letters. He was also the outstanding African American intellectual of his period in America. Du Bois married in 1896 Nina Gomer, and together they had two children named Burkhard Gomer and Nina Yolande. Du Bois' legacy has served as the intellectual foundation of the modern-day Black protest movement. He is regarded by many as a prophet whose words inspire oppressed people through the world in their struggle for civil rights. The power of the ballot we need in sheer defense, else what shall save us from a secondary slavery? W.E.B. Du Bois. Du Bois' most lasting contribution is his writing. He is also a poet, playwright, novelist, essayist, sociologist, historian, and journalist. Du Bois married Shirley Graham, who was an author, on February 14, 1951, and together had a stepson named David Graham. A partial list of Du Bois' career's accomplishments gives testimony to his varied gifts as political scientist, organizer, author, educator, and inspirational figure. Du Bois was one of the founders of the Niagara Movement, a Black protest organization that pressed for equal rights in the early 1900s. Du Bois was also active on behalf of Pan-Africanism and concerned with the condition of African American people wherever they may live. In 1900, he attended the first Pan-American Conference held in London, was elected a vice president, and wrote addresses to the nations of the world. The Niagara Movement included a Pan-African department. In 1911, Du Bois attended the first Universal Racist Congress in London, along with Black intellectuals from Africa and the West Indies. Du Bois died in Ghana on August 27, 1963, on the eve of the Civil Rights March in Washington, D.C. He was giving a state funeral at which Wayne Nkrumah remarked that he was a phenomenon.